Let's bring in Economist Stephen Moore joining us this morning. Stephen, look, I know you're not a tariff guy, but I do want to know what you think about this 100% tariff threat on Canada.
Well, listen, the Canadians have to figure out who their friends are and who their enemies are. And obviously, we're the most friendly nation with respect to Canada. We need that partnership between Canada, Mexico, and the United States. And yet here Canada is negotiating with our enemy, which is China. So I get what Donald Trump is doing. I understand why he's angry. And Stuart, one of his concerns, and the White House concerns, is that because we have essentially freer trade with Canada, that what the Chinese will do is bring a bunch of their cheap goods into Canada, and then they will be imported into the United States and with no tariffs applied at all. That's why he is threatening these tariffs on Canada. And look, Canada should not get in bed with China. It's that simple. Well,
Mark Carney, Prime Minister, he says he has no intention of doing a deal with China. And yet the tariff threat remains. I mean, but the tariff threat remains. Right. I mean, is this a negotiation? I mean, do you expect maybe Mr. Trump to withdraw the threat of 100% tariffs and move it down a little bit and gradually negotiate something here?
Of course, I think that's exactly what Trump is doing. He's the master of negotiations. But also, this is a warning shot to the Canadians. Do not get in bed with China. This story does not end well for the United States or Canada.
Okay, the story on the financial markets this morning, well, to me the lead story, is gold and silver. Gold's at $5,100 an ounce, silver well above $100 an ounce. But Bitcoin, that's down to 87,000. Why is Bitcoin not a safe haven?
Well, listen, I can't answer that because I'm not an expert on the cryptos. But I will say this, that gold at 5,000 is a bad sign. As you know, gold is a rush to safety. And it's kind of confounding to me, quite frankly, Stuart, because the U.S. economy is absolutely booming right now. So think about this. We've got essentially Dow 50,000. At the same time, gold hits 5,000. You know, usually those trends go in opposite directions. And now you've got a rising U.S. stock market and a rising price of gold. Somebody's got to explain that one to me. Now, I have a hypothesis, and I think a lot of people would agree with this who are more experts on this than I am, which is what's happening globally is that the Chinese continue to sell their U.S. treasuries, Stuart, and what are they doing with that money? They're buying gold. So that would explain why the gold price is going up. But that's an attempt by the Chinese to bring down the U.S. economy. Another reason, by the way, why Canada should not get in bed with the Chinese. They are an evil empire.
So they're selling our treasuries and putting the money into gold. And when they sell our treasuries, that puts an upward tilt towards interest rates. That hurts us, and that's what China's doing. That's a good explanation. Steve, thanks for joining us this morning. Yeah. We understand plain English.
I'm proud of you, Stuart. You got it. You got it right. You got the story exactly right, my friend.
Well, no, you did first. All right, Stephen Moore, thanks very much indeed. We'll see you again soon.